GF. The GS Pedia. General Studies Video Lectures. Notes and Practice. Question sets for engineering service examination, and other conducted examinations. In this video we had discussed a subtopic of energy and environment, which is Environment Impact Assessment. 7. Environmental Impact Statement ESE. The Environmental Impact Statement ESE provides documentation of the information and estimates derived from the various steps in the process. The information contained in ESE provides the decision-makers/regulators with valuable information that could ultimately contribute to either the abandonment or substantial modification of a proposed development action. A typical ESE contains the following three parts. 1. Methods and key issues. This part deals with the statement of methods used and a summary of key issues. 2. Background to the proposed development. This part deals with preliminary studies. That is, need, planning, alternatives, site selection, etc. Site description/baseline. Conditions, description of proposed development and construction activities and programs. 3. Environmental impact assessments on topic areas. This part deals with land use, landscape and visual quality, geology, topography and soils, hydrology and water quality, air quality and climate, terrestrial and aquatic ecology, noise, transport, socio-economic and interrelationships between effects. 8. Impact indicators. An impact indicator is an element or a parameter that provides a measure in at least some qualitative sense of the significance of the effect, that is, the magnitude of an environmental impact. Some indicators such as morbidity and mortality statistics and crop yields have associated numerical scales. Other impact indicators, however, can only be ranked as good, better, best or acceptable, unacceptable, etc. The selection of a set of indicators is often a crucial step in the impact assessment process, requiring input from the decision maker. In the absence of relevant goals or policies, the assessor himself or herself may suggest some indicators and scales, but he or she should not proceed with the assessment until his or her proposals are accepted. The most widely used impact indicators are those within statutory laws, acts, that is, indicators such as air and water quality standards that have statutory authority. 4. Example: the problem of designing an environmentally acceptable oil-fired generating station is simplified for the engineers if they are given one or both of the following. 1. Emission standards for various pollutants. 2. Air and water quality standards. These standards integrate the worth that a jurisdiction places on clean air and clear water. The numerical values that have been derived from examination of the available toxicological matter are data relating polluting dosages to health and vegetation effects, combined with a consideration of the best practical technology. Factors such as the displacement of arable land by industry are also equally important. A RIA that ignores these other components is incomplete and sometimes misleading. Mune, 1979. 9. Evolution of IA. To understand the use of ESE as a tool for environmental management, let us discuss how ESE has evolved over the years. Evolution of ESE worldwide. United States of America was the first country to assign mandatory status to ESE through its National Environmental Protection Act (NEPA) of 1969. A host of industrialized countries have since implemented ESE procedures. Canada, Australia, the Netherlands, and Japan adopted ESE legislation in 1973, 1974, 1981 and 1984, respectively. In July 1985, the European Community (EC) issued a directive making environmental assessments mandatory for certain categories of projects. 1994. Among the developing countries, Colombia was the first Latin American country to institute a system of ESE in 1974. In Asia and the Pacific region, Thailand and the Philippines have long established procedures for ESE. It was made mandatory in Sri Lanka in 1984. The ESE process in Africa is sketchy, although a number of nations, including Rwanda, Botswana and Sudan, have some experience of ESE. 1988. Bilateral and multilateral agencies have also recognized the value of ESE as a decision-making tool. The Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, OECD, issued recommendations on ESE to its constituent states in 1974 and 1979 and for development aid projects in 1986. OECD issued guidelines for good practices in ESE in 1992. OECD 1992. United Nations Environment Programme (UNEP) in 1980 provided guidance on ESE of the development proposals UNEP 1980 and supported research on ESE in developing countries. Ahmed and Swami 1985. UNEP in 1987 set out goals and principles of ESE for the member countries and provided guidance on basic procedures for ESE in 1988. The World Conservation Strategy pinpointed the need to integrate environmental considerations with development in 1980. IUCN 1980. ESE became an integral part of World Bank policy in 1987, which states that environmental issues must be addressed as part of overall economic policy. In 1989, the World Bank issued the Operational Directive on Environmental Assessment OD 4.00, which was revised and updated in October 1991. OD 4.01. Asian Development Bank in 1990 published guidelines for ESE. 1990. Importance of ESE was echoed in the Brundtland Report WCED 1987, and at United Nations Earth Summit on Environment and Development held at Rio de Janeiro in 1992. 1992. As foreseen by Garner and Doriodin, 1982, development of ESE as a tool for decision-making world over has emerged through the following stages. No formal accounting, decisions made on interest group lobbying and engineering. Feasibility, primary emphasis on economic development. Conventional cost-benefit analysis. Emphasis on efficiency criterion and engineering. Feasibility. Major concerns still on economic development. Innovative cost-benefit analysis. Use of multiple objectives and discount rates. Imaginative proxy pricing mechanisms. Economic development as one of the objectives. They are mainly concerned with describing the repercussions of their proposals on biophysical processes. Economic development still primary objective. With more attention paid to sociocultural as well as biophysical systems. Economic development but not the sole objective. B. Evolution of year in India. Year in India was started in 1976 to 77, when the Planning Commission asked the then Department of Science and Technology to examine the River Valley projects from the environmental angle. This was subsequently extended to cover those projects, which required approval of the Public Investment Board. These were administrative decisions, and lacked the legislative support. The Government of India enacted the Environment Protection Act on the 23rd of May 1986. To achieve the objectives of the Act, one of the decisions taken was to make it statutory. After following the legal procedure, a notification was issued on the 27th of January 1994, and subsequently amended on the 4th of May 1994. The 10th of April 1997, and the 27th of January 2000, making environmental impact assessment statutory for 30 activities. This is the principal piece of legislation governing year in India. Besides this, the Government of India under Environment Protection Act 1986 issued a number of notifications, which are related to environmental impact assessment. These are limited to specific geographical areas, and are summarized below. Prohibiting location of industries except those related to tourism in a belt of 1 kilometer from high tide mark from the Radanda Creek up to Devki Point near Srivardhan, as well as in 1 kilometer belt along the banks of Rajpuri Creek in Marudjangiru area in the Reg. District of Maharashtra, the 6th of January 1989. Restricting location of industries, mining operations, and regulating other activities in Doon Valley, the 1st of February 1989. Regulating activities in the coastal stretches of the country by classifying them as coastal regulation zone and prohibiting certain activities, the 19th of February 1991. Restricting location of industries and regulating other activities in Lahanu Taluka in Maharashtra, the 6th of June 91. Restricting certain activities in specified areas of Aravalli Range in the Gurgaon district of Haryana and Alwar district of Rajasthan, the 7th of May 1992. Restricting industrial and other activities, which could lead to pollution and congestion. In the northwest of Numalik in Assam, July 1996.